cats.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth.
Welcome. Did you say welcome? Ugh.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, this is my ASMR. I wonder if I could do that for like money.
I saw one today that was stripping bark off trees for cinnamon production.
ASMR?
Yeah. It
Oh,
was
that's
just like,
weird.
it was like,
Oh, right. That's satisfying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. It depends if it makes you want to rip your skin off or if it's
right.
feels good. I don't know. Well, as you can hear, Stephanie is not here, and it is manyfold, but mainly her son had an injury that went beyond just the average repair.
Yeah.
So I've spoken to her many times, and it appears that we will be able to record next time.
Okay.
And we'll do a
good.
big catch up. Plus, I want to hear all the tea. This is the thing that I've actually come to, the conclusion I've come to when it comes to broken arms or legs or whatever.
Okay.
When we were growing up, having a broken arm was not that big of a deal, if you recall.
It was pretty unusual if you hadn't broken something. Like I know, like it's, I knock on whatever this is, I've never broken anything.
Right.
So.
But as kids, I just remember so many boys specifically broke arms. And then they would just show up the next day with a white cast
that everybody signed.
And it would become disgusting, filthy. Or if they broke their ankle, they had the... the cast, and they'd walk around with their crutches, and then they'd get sick of it, and they'd just kind of hop around because they were sick of the crutches, all the things. But what it's really made me realize is how we minimized that in the 80s and 90s, because now when she's telling me what's going on, and I did know somebody who had to have the surgery that he had to have, but even then, it's like, they're like, yeah, no big deal. But now it's like, it's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Like it's painful. It's so painful.
Right.
And they don't give kids narcotics. Understandable.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's way different. And I'm like, it was probably even worse when we were kids.
I would imagine.
To have a broken paw or arm or anything, little broken wing. And I'm thinking, man, the amount of suffering that our generation.
Well, this is why she's been home,
90s.
making sure he's good, taking care of him.
It just drives me nuts.
Well, plus they, little dudes, we're going to go stir crazy on that kind of stuff, right? So in addition to everything else that you went through, now you're going to be like, I
just can't. I just think about all those people I knew that broke their little wrist or their arm when we were kids. And I'm like, man, I bet they were just in so much pain. Anyway, with all that being said, producer Deb is sitting in with me. We also just got home from a whirlwind weekend.
We did.
In the bright lights of Cincinnati, Ohio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Now, you had actual work to do.
Actual work, yes.
But you rearranged your schedule so that I could come with you because I was invited to a surprise party to attend somebody who I game with.
Yeah.
And so his girlfriend / someone I play with.
Yeah. Because they both play, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, she doesn't as much anymore, but yes. And so she invited me, and I'm like, I hate to tell you this, but I'm actually going to take you up on your invite because I'll be able to come. She's like, oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah.
And you were able to come with me.
Yeah.
And
so, super fun.
So the week was really great. I mean, the time change, it's 3 hours difference, and that's significant. Like for me, it is. You adjust so fast to time change. I don't know how you do it. Probably just because you're used to it.
Well, and it's the work thing too. And it hits me pretty hard when I get back. But while I'm there, I can't think about the fact, like, Friday morning, I had to get up like normal work hour, but that felt like 4, but I had to get up and do it. And, so it was.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Anyway, it was an amazing weekend.
Great.
You keep trying to tell me that it went well at the party.
Yeah.
I'm having so many self-doubts.
Self-doubt about what?
Like, what if they thought I was horrible? What if they thought I was an asshole? Like, I haven't heard from anyone. I haven't heard nary a word about the party.
Yeah, because they're all picking themselves up off the floor right now 2 days later.
Maybe.
It was open bar, man.
I'm feeling so insecure.
At a bar, by the way. Like, you get open bar. Dude. Like, it's not open bar is usually like a pop-up bar at a wedding or something like this. This was open bar at a bar.
I have to tell you,
unlimited supply,
and they were pouring heavy. heavy pours.
When I went back the one time, I had gotten you champagne and they had little flutes, like you were having the little flutes, right? Yes. And I went back and I brought the little flute and I go, can you refill that? And the bartender looks at me and goes, enough of this shit, and takes the flute and then gives me this giant wine glass and pours what feels like half of a bottle of champagne into it. Here you go. I was like, oh shit. And every wine glass we saw was a giant wine glass that was at least half full.
It was awesome.
Oh my God.
Was so cool.
Man.
It was great.
It was a really surreal, kind of great environment, cool party.
I do not know what kind of impression I left, and I'm obviously being very self-involved right now. Because I had a lot of anxiety about going, and now I'm having all this anxiety about how it went, and I'm like, did they unfriend me yet? Like, I'm so worried. It was like a fucking fever dream. Yeah. I told you that. I walked in. I wasn't nervous at all. I was really like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. And
because a little backstory. You've known these people, not in person, but you've known them for a long time.
Oh, yeah, for like
several years. Yes. So they know you, you know them from gaming and stuff like that. But like,
wasn't it hilarious when he walked in and he didn't even look at, like he walked right even by recognize you because he didn't
know you, right?
Yeah, because he's never met me. So he's like, and when I walked up to him, wasn't it weird? I'm like, hi, and he's like, hello. Pause. I'm like, do you know who I am? He's like, yes.
I didn't see that.
I did. And then he goes, it's Kama, right? And I'm like, yes. He's like, oh my God. But that's a weird freaking thing. Like if you were to do not ever throw me a surprise party, friend. I mean, never. I am not that person. Do not do it. But should you have had invited friends over, people that live on the other side of the country show up, my mind would be like, it would take a minute to register.
Well, especially here because it's like small world. They all, I mean, a third of that place probably worked at the same company because it's this giant company in the market. And then there was like friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, gamer buddies. There was like all little segments of everybody.
There was 2 of us.
Man.
It was fun though. I mean, I had an absolute blast.
I thought it was super fun.
It was so amazing. Yeah. And I loved how some people were coming up. So I hear you're from California.
Oh God. We definitely got a reputation quickly of coming from the farthest away. So it was
so cool. Yeah. And they're all like ridiculously smart.
Yeah, there's a lot of smart people in that room.
Crazy, like physicist level stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I am the dummy in the room. These people are brilliant. And it was so cool. I couldn't get enough of it. I could not get enough of it.
Yeah, it was definitely definitely surreal. Like we
get in the car and you're like, did you have fun? I'm like, I'm buzzing. Like I assume it was
a husband and wife band, or maybe they were friends. But
I'm not sure.
There was a woman and a man. They played all the like
never
new,
repeated.
Old. Like it was great.
No repeats.
It was really fun.
Like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was unhinged how much they played.
Did we stay there for 5 hours?
Well, we got there. Yeah, well, 4.5.
Oh yeah, but still, I mean, that's a long time at a party.
It was amazing,
yeah,
and
it was fun.
Just thank you again for inviting me. And I mean, I've invited myself to funerals.
Yes.
The only thing I've never invited myself to is a wedding because those are expensive, and I would never do that. But anyway, I even offered to pay for myself I'm like, if you want me to come, I will pay for myself if I promise. And they're like, shut up. I'm like, it's going to be so great. God. Anyway, so yeah, you worked. We did that. And you had a colleague who showed us around downtown Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Here's the deal. I am over the moon on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It is such a, what is the word I'm looking for? People are sleeping on Cincinnati.
I don't know if they're sleeping on it. I mean,
I don't know, man.
That city's got professional sports.
I'm aware,
big stadiums,
but when you
growth.
Like when I told Stephanie,
I just think it feels sleepy to us because we're California.
Yeah.
I don't think people sleep on Cincinnati on the East Coast.
I haven't heard too many people go. You know where you need to go? You need to go to Cincinnati.
Well, it was
you
pretty
need
great.
to live it up over there.
I can tell you probably why though. Was the little tiny comment that was made while we were walking around downtown. What? That there's no sun for 6 months and it snows there.
Well, the weather.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
True.
Like you somebody said that never move to a town without going there for 2 of the 4 seasons.
It's true.
So,
but when we were there, I want to live there forever.
Yeah,
everything is so beautiful.
Yep.
Green, quaint, and I don't know about you. I didn't see one unfriendly human. I'm sure they're there.
Nice.
Everybody's got
You stay anywhere people. Long enough, you're gonna meet them. But yeah,
I just was like, why is everyone so friendly? They're probably friendly because like we have sun today.
Yeah,
it's amazing. We're all happy, but it's just so great. And they know how to party.
And then 3 months into winter, it's like the purge.
You know what? I think I recall the woman that invited us, or me.
Yeah.
I remember her saying to me once, I'm sure it was her, she had not left her home in 3 months because she had a knee surgery or something. She had left her home in 3 months. And I believe that they suggested she get a sun lamp because she was getting depressed.
Yeah.
Because she was rehabbing at home and because she couldn't leave because of the snow.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, see.
But I don't even think about that until I get there. And then I go, hey,
maybe it's our summer destination.
Well, I mean, it's pretty lovely.
It was top notch.
The food, I mean, everything.
The food scene was hot.
And they know how to make a good cocktail.
And they know how to make a good drink.
I mean, multiple places we had cocktails, and it was amazing. By the way, it's been a hot minute since I've had alcohol that often every day.
I was doing the math.
Much alcohol.
I mean, the party was a little bit different because it was just
drank
beer
champagne.
And champagne.
I didn't drink anything else. You did.
I didn't. But the 2 nights before the party, at least one cocktail and a bottle of wine. We each had a cocktail, and then we
2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row, and that was,
I regret nothing.
Of course not. It was super
This is
fun.
what we trained for. Like, all right, this is the big leagues now. Okay.
This is why we go to Napa, people.
This is why we hydrate. This is why we
keep up.
This is what we do. Anyway, it was one of the friendliest cities, and when I tell them, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Cincinnati. They're like, Cincinnati? But you're right. We're California. This is more than Midwest. I mean, it's really far out. And there's no direct flight there. We had to connect everywhere, which, by the way, hated it. And then
Cincinnati doesn't like it either, by the way. I talked to a couple people while we were there that are like, ever since the pandemic, so there's so much fewer direct flights to anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, they just make you connect.
It just freaking sucks. Yeah. And so we flew through, okay, first of all, I had to get up at 4 a.m. on Thursday.
Oh, Pacific time to get
to the
catch
airport.
A 7 a.m. flight.
And I remember getting up and I looked at you and I'm like, why are we doing this? And you said, you agreed to it. And I said, yeah, that was like 2 months ago. And you're like, well, we didn't have too many options.
Right.
And I'm like, that's right. I forgot. Now I remember. Because it was either leave at the butt crack of dawn or arrive at like 11 o'clock at night.
Can we talk?
I did not want to do that.
Can we talk about the look you gave me?
Yes.
At about 6 a.m. in the morning at the airport when the Clear machine didn't work for you.
So you travel a lot. And so because of that, you first of all, everybody and their mother has TSA PreCheck now.
Yep.
So now you've leveled up to
you had
Clear.
You had Clear to that. It makes a difference.
And you made me get it because you didn't want to be hindered by my lack of access to the shortest line possible. So you signed me up for Clear as well. And it's fine. We did it when we traveled internationally a couple years ago, and you know what? It's great.
Yep.
So like we arrived, in Sacramento before dawn, barely dawn has broken, and we're doing Clear, and I'm like,
we looked at the sunrise from the parking garage.
I did, and I'm looking at Clear, going, God, do we really need to do this? Would you like to wait in that long line over there? And I'm like, no, fine, I'll do Clear.
Why do I always sound retarded?
So here's the problem I get with Clear is ever since I signed up for it, even in Heathrow, it doesn't recognize my eyes.
Right.
And I don't know, is there something wrong with my eyes?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think they did a good job the first time they did your eyes. When they put you in the database.
So
it never works.
Finally, they're like, all right, let's just do your finger. I'm like, all right. So I do the finger and it says, oh, you need to renew.
Yeah.
Now it is 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Fine. 6 a.m.
No, what? No. I wasn't arguing the time. It wasn't a renew. It had been a while since you did it, and they upgraded their ID
software
capabilities. So now it should be a little faster, even. But you had to go through that experience, which I had to also, but not that day.
And you're like, oh yeah, they upgraded, and I'm like, what? And you're like, yeah, you've got to retake your photo and everything. And I'm like,
the death glare I got.
And I turned and I looked at you and you're like, this isn't my fault. I'm like, it is 100% your fault. And why is it when I have to take a photo, it is 5:30 in the morning and I look I have slits for eyes. I'm pale. I'm puffy. Like, this is not the time to be taking a photo. And then I'm so mad that I have to go through this. They're like, oh, you're going to get a text. Put in the code. I'm like, what is happening? And there's like 10 people. People are starting to build up because I'm, having to do all this nonsense. So they take my picture and you are standing behind me and you're like, really? Really? That's the photo you've chosen? And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what I look like. And then you made the face, you're making this face. And I'm like, what is that? You're like, you're practically snarling in the photo. And I look, I'm like, God, my one side lip is kind of snarled a bit. I'm like, whatever. I don't even care.
You were perturbed.
Do not care. And I'm like, let's do the fingers anyway. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. Then we get through. Man. So then on our way home today, we had to get up early again, but it wasn't as bad, but it was still early. Yeah. So anyway, and I look at you and I go, I've decided I'm not meant to travel. Like, I'm not built for this. I don't like it. I mean, I can get through it, but I'm not really built for this travel. You mean public travel? I'm like, well, I wouldn't know. Let's experiment. Let's find out.
Let's not.
Let's find out if I can do it the other way.
We're not drive you to the tarmac, walk on the private jet yet. We're not there.
Well, you get on that. Gotta get on it.
Coming back, I think Claire saved us a lot of time, by the way.
Well, that was also hilarity.
Yes, that
Cincinnati.
So let me tell the part. So
I just want to preface this. No. I want to preface this by saying something. My children are very aware of the rules when it comes to the airport.
No, it's not the airport.
Okay.
The rules were your plane crashes, every man for himself. There was nothing about lines in airports.
Oh, yes, there
you
is.
Adjusted that to that. That was not in real time. So here's what she does. So we get through the clear line, but now we've got it's building up to the part. So we've already through, but now they have to walk you up one at a time or in groups up to the actual agent to get you through, and you're kind of cutting everybody.
Oh, and they hate it so much.
A couple people hate it.
Oh, boy, do they get pissed.
Yeah, well, especially we're like, we have flights to catch. I was like, well, fucking get clear then.
Get clear like the rest of us.
So, they were anyway, so we get to our part, and the lady comes up to Jamie and says, "Are you alone?" And she says, "Yes." I'm standing right behind her. I literally poked my head out. I told you later. It was kind of like the scene in Step Brothers that we just watched. Hello, Ms. Lady. I poked my head. I was like, we're actually together. And she's like, oh, yeah, we're together. And then I come. And then I was like, and then we got through and we're in the line to put our suitcases on the security thing or whatever. And I go, did you tell that woman you were alone?
I did. Because it is every man for himself in the airport. I've told the children, I've trained them well. I'm like, look, no one's going to wait for you and no one's going to help you in the security lines. No one cares. So if you are an able-bodied human, be prepared, be aggressive, get through efficiently and respectfully, and get on the other side. And I'll meet you at the gate if I have to. Now, I will wait for them on the other side. If they're younger, when they were younger, I would, but I would watch them go through security, because we are those assholes where our kids didn't get TSA pre-check and we did, and they had to go through the old school line because they were over 18.
I was standing right behind you.
I know. I'm sorry.
I don't get it.
My mind just gets very, very I shut down. I'm like, I got to get through this. And I downshift into independence. Because no one's going to save me.
It's that kind of attitude that gets you strip search in an international airport.
That's the kind of attitude where I survive the zombie apocalypse and no one else does.
Okay.
Because no one's thinking. You just got to get through it. Sheep never, ever survive. You have to go. Just go.
That's not sheep that's not sheep activity. That's selfish activity.
It is. Just like when I'm in the plane.
And they have words like Ohana and never leave anyone behind and things like that.
Well, they all die, don't they?
No, they don't. Because they have people who help take care of them.
I will say this.
Not abandon you because you're such in a zone that you want to do your own thing. You would be lost in an airport without me.
That is Such a lie.
That's not a lie.
You act like I've never lived before you.
No,
Harrison.
I know. Who?
Nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Candidly, I thought it was funny. I was like, this is very typical. I just thought it was funny. But
it is funny. Again, Cincinnati, I love you. I
awesome.
absolutely loved it. I want to go back. I want to go back.
Yeah.
We'll go back not in the winter, though. We'll go back in the spring.
I like that. I like that plan.
Adored your colleague that we met.
She's great.
Sincerely appreciated the tour. I adored the friends that I got to meet and all the new people we met. It was insane. It was insane. I don't think I've ever been to a party where I know literally nobody and had a good time.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. In a good way.
It was all good. I was like,
awesome.
There was not one bad egg in the bunch. Like, it was just incredible.
I mean, we did leave, and maybe it went on till 3 or 4 in the morning, and maybe his stories changed.
Well, that's true.
But we were there for quite a while, and it was super fun.
No, it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you for squaring me about the United States. I still think I'm a decent person to travel with. I am not difficult.
No, you're not difficult.
No.
You're just blinders on.
I know. I don't apologize.
I know.
Just keep up with it.
I'm with it.
Just like today.
I knew what I signed up for.
Just like today when we landed in Sacramento and I just immediately made a beeline to the benches because I'm like, I just want to sit in a chair that's not tiny and just like get kind of whatever. And I couldn't find you. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm sure he's over by the luggage.
Just left.
And then I told the girls, I'm like, I've lost your father. I assume he's retrieving the bags. And Kenzie goes, well, if he's a smart man, he'll retrieve the bags and the vehicle before he ever lets you know that it's time to go.
I kept you in eye line the whole time, so it's fine.
I know, it was fine. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will be back next time with a new show. Bye.